Hello and welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Becca, so if you don't know me, now you do. I'm glad you're here, so let's jump in. Let's dive in. That's more of a summer reference. Let's jump into the pile of leaves. Let's go. So today I'm fueled by Monster mango flavor. It's still very hot in LA, so cold caffeine is a lot of times the way to go. You may wonder why I'm in a long sleeve shirt and yet saying it's hot in LA, and it's because I'm a glutton for punishment. So no, it's because this video is a very special video because it's my favorite fucking time of year, which is fall. As the title of this video probably suggests, I'm also going to give you my fall TBR. I don't do TBRs by month because I'm too much of a mood reader to do so. So I feel like if I choose 5 books where I'm like, I may not get 5 read, but these are the 5 to choose from, then all of a sudden I don't want to read any of those books and I only want to read the ones that are not on my list. And so I don't do that because also what happens is like, it becomes too much pressure. It's a lot of, okay, but I have to read this amount of books or like I'm failing. And so what I like to do is give me a completely unrealistic entirely goal. But instead of making it for the month, making it for the season. So it's 3 months of disappointment instead of just the one. First of all, my vibe overall is fall. So I feel like the books I gravitate towards are more fall-ish. Yeah. So I would say that I have way more books that I feel kind of fall into the fall category because that's kind of just my vibe that I go towards. And so it's like once it's fall, I'm like, bitches, it's my time. You know what I mean? I have many, many books to share with you today. And I also know that the sheer number of them is a number in which I cannot get through. So what I'm hoping from you, not for you, I'm just hoping all the dreams in the cold side of the pillow every night. But I think what I would like from you is if any of these books stick out to you as like, I loved this book, this was a 5-star read, this got me into reading, what have you. Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, bitch, get on a pile. I just added a book to the pile and it wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble. But if any of these books stuck out to you, please let me know if I should prioritize them. Every book that I talk about is going to be linked below. It's in my Linktree link. If you go to the storefront, all the books that I talk about will be linked there. So if you are wanting to know exactly what book that I'm talking about, they're all there, as well as books from the other videos that I've already posted here. If you want to know what I'm reading monthly, I'm going to be I'll post that kind of stuff more on TikTok and Instagram. So if you aren't following me there, the link is down below. So go ahead and do that because if you want a little bit of crazy, that's why you're here. It's just bite-sized over there. So you just got a little dose of crazy each and every day. You're welcome. What I am currently reading, I am so excited. So first I'll start with my audiobook. So I'm listening to Everything I Learned About Love from Dolly Alderton. I'm listening to that, enjoying that a lot so far. I think it's interesting. I think the way that she describes getting dial-up internet and the way that the internet created spaces in a way that hadn't been there before was really cool because I grew up with dial-up and getting AOL and AIM and all that stuff. And so like hearing the way she describes it, I was like, oh, that's a really good representation. But so far, after listening to it for a while, I'm getting a little bored, but I'm only, let me see, I'm on chapter 9 right now. So I've read 17 or I've listened to 17% of it. So we'll see if I end up really enjoying that. But right now, oh my God, one book fell and they almost all went down. Okay. 1 second. Okay, so that's what I'm listening to right now, and I enjoy her accent, and so I'm doing just fine listening to that one. So that is what I'm currently listening to, but the book that I'm currently reading, aka devouring, is fucking Fourth Wing, people. Listen, I have just gone on with Beach Read about book being hyped and that like really playing into my reading experience, and that's why I've waited so long to read Fourth Wing because everybody was talking about it. I cannot read a book while everybody's talking about it. I just can't do it. I don't know why. I have to, if it's going to be a popular book that I've read before, people asked me before. Like, I read Throne of Glass and Court of Thorns and Roses years and years ago. I don't think that I could read them now. I think I'd be too fucking intimidated now. But I read them so long ago that I'm like, oh yeah, like I just left that train. But this one, holy shit, I waited so long. I got the second one in a sale, and it was like a part of a sale that they were doing with like the books being slightly damaged, so it doesn't have a cover. But I got Fourth Wing before that. I'm so excited. I just started reading it and I'm 76 pages in. I'm fucking loving it. I'm devouring it like I'm a dragon. It's so good. So I'm hoping that my thoughts of other people's thoughts can get the fuck away from me and I can enjoy this book, because so far I'm obsessed and I love it so much. And I've already told Ovid, I'm like, you must read this after. He's reading the third, I think he's reading Morning Stars, but the third Red Rising book is called, I think. But I was like, you have to read this immediately after. And now I want all the dragon merch that I've seen. But that's what's great too, because if I'm reading it after the hype, then all the merch is out and I can just buy all the things. Like, what do I want for Christmas? Dragons. If it doesn't have a dragon, don't get it for me. So, Fourth Wing, so good. Can't wait. And that really kicks off our fall TBR, because this was on my fall TBR, so I'm already killing it. Speaking of series that can be super intimidated by, or that I can be super intimidated by. Like I just mentioned, this is a good segue, because like I just mentioned, I read Throne of Glass and Court of Thorns and Roses many moons ago. I had a friend who read them and recommended them all. And like I have all the old, you can't see, but I have all the old covers of them all, and I'm very lucky. And my copies are well worn and read, because they've been passed around to all of my friends. When I first read the series, I shoved it down their throats, as you people are doing now to your friends. Because of that, and because of the hype that's gone around Sarah J. Maas, and I've been a little overstimulated by it, it's taken me a minute. But on my fall TBR, also, this is in no particular order. There are no reason that these are on my fall TBR other than the fact that I think they feel like fall. And this is my world and I'm living in it. So if I think it feels like fall, it belongs to fall. So I'm putting it there. I will try to describe why these books feel like fall to me. And the other thing you should also know is I go into books almost entirely blind. I think I know by now the kinds of books that I like. I know the people that I trust to read them. And so if I see like some synopsis and I'm like, yep, I'd like it, I put it on the shelf and I come across it. I know almost nothing. I go blindly into these books. But this first one, again, kind of blind, except that I know that I love the author. But I have Crescent City on my list this fall. And that's right. It says signed. It's a signed copy. Oh, gorgeous, stunning. She's a stunner. She's a stunner, baby. Yeah. Kingdom of Ash is also signed, because I went to, like, she did like a book thing in LA when it first came out a long time ago. And so I went to that with my best friend and we got our books and got them signed. So I have 2 Sarah J. Maas books that are signed and I just want to throw up with excitement. Don't worry, I won't. Crescent City, I haven't started the series because for a long time I hadn't read Court of Silver Flames and I didn't want to have any of the other series books outstanding. Again, I'm just like, there's just been so much around Sarah lately that, Sarah, we're on a first name basis if you didn't know. There's just been so much around these books and around this author that I'm not one to jump in the deep end. I like wade in. I'm the girl that's like on the floaty with a beverage, you know, and if I go over to the chaos, I like kind of paddle away from it and I observe it, but I only dive in when I'm ready, you know? So funny how different people read, because some people read her entire series within a week or a month or whatever, and I love that for you. I truly do. But I like to sit with her books and sit with her writing. I don't know. I haven't always, I feel like maybe I did when I was originally reading them, read one after another, because there wasn't the pressure of the people. But I'm excited to read this one. So Crescent City, the first one, I have the first one and the third one, because I got the third one in a sale recently, so I just need the second one. But I'm excited to start it because I've missed Sarah J. Maas and her writing. Crescent City. Why does it seem fall? It's red and magical. These are fall colors. And there's a moon. Doesn't look summery. And there's blood. I mean, what? Come on. I don't know. Fall. Sure. These are probably fantasy. I mean, I'll just tell you that right now. Okay, this one probably doesn't seem fall at all. I'm literally, this is the thing. I pulled books from my bookshelf that I was like, ooh, these are books I knew I wanted to read in fall. And they ended up being 3 different stacks with no sense of order. So welcome to the unhinged chaos. Welcome to this channel. No doubt, no doubt. Next one up. Remarkably Bright Creatures. Why does this seem fall? It doesn't. It's just a book that I've really wanted to read and I don't really want to keep going without having read it. It just seems really cute and really charming. And I think I have a lot of books in here that are fantasy and more a heavy element. They're like fantasy and mystery and magic, and those are great things, but I also do need books to kind of like equalize my brain. It's about a relationship with an octopus. That's what I know about it. So unless you want to look for yourself, that's what you're gonna know too. And it's by Shelby Van Pelt. Please stop with the permanent stickers. Who do you think you are? But yeah, I'm excited to read this one. And I've heard a lot of people have been talking about it again recently. And I was wanting to read it in summer because it looks very summery. But I heard somebody say that it doesn't necessarily take place in summer. So I feel really good about reading this whenever I damn well please. Remarkably by Creatures. Okay, this is one of my very first book of the month picks. And I never got around to reading it, which is a little crazy. It's like not very good of me. The Change by Madeline Miller. Not Madeline Miller, by Kristen Miller. Witches. It's not over, it's time. And Book of the Month recommended it to me. That's all I know about it. It feels like fall because I think it's about witches. I think it's about witches, I think. A gloriously sharp and funny modern saga about 3 women who discover that midlife brings a whole new type of empowerment, putting them on a collision course with the evil that lurks in their wealthy beach town. Okay. All I know is it's about witches and October is coming. I also have more witches books on my shelves, and those may make an appearance, but this is going to be representative of my witching books because I do have a few others that I would have to take apart my bookshelves and find. Oh, The Change. I'm excited to read it. And it's about witches. And October is for the witches and the ghouls. You know what I mean? And it's fall for that reason. I don't know if I need to say that. For my like historical girlies, I have the one that looks the most fall, but literally all of her books are on my TBR, is The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. The only Kristen Hanna book I've read is The Women, and I loved it. It's heavy, obviously, so I feel like I gotta be in a good headspace to read her books. But this one, I don't even know what it's about. Texas, 1921, a time of abundance. The great war is over. The bounty of the land is plentiful, and America is the brink of a new and optimistic era. It sounds like us before we were going into 2020. It's a rich, sweeping novel that stunningly brings to life the Great Depression and the people who lived through it, the harsh realities that divided us as a nation, and the enduring battle between the haves and have-nots. A testament to hope, resilience, and the strength of the human spirit to survive adversity. The Four Winds is an indelible portrait of America and the American dream as seen through the eyes of one indomitable woman whose courage and sacrifice will come to define a generation. Not light and fluffy, but does sound great. And it looks fall. That looks like Thanksgiving to me. Just because it's sweet. But Kristen Hanna, I feel like you can't go wrong. I mean, literally, she's written so many books. I know The Nightingale is high up there for me. I don't have The Nightingale. This one my friend Ashton gave me. But The Great Alone, The Nightingale, I think Firefly Lane. Those are kind of the ones that are higher up on my list of hers. But she's written so many. So I'm excited to read another one of hers because The Women was so good and so powerful. So the Four Winds, good one. We have a couple of romance ones that I'll group together a little bit because this is like a little less random. So sorry. We have The Love of My Afterlife, where a woman has to find her love outside of the afterlife, I think. A recently deceased woman meets the one in the afterlife waiting room. It sounds like what's that show? The Good Place, to have a waiting room. Scoring a second chance at life and love if she can find him on Earth before 10 days are up. So yeah, this sounds to be like The Good Place, which I love. So that's great. But this just looks so sweet and fun. And I think it's fall, not because of the cover, obviously, but it seems fall because it gives me like ghosty vibes. But like lighthearted ghosty vibes, you know. Love a lighthearted ghost. Casper? Come on. If that guy in that movie wasn't your first crush, what are you doing? And then my other one, this feels fall because the cover feels fall, but I have no idea if it has anything to do with fall. But it is such a dollin on the and I read, okay, anyway, it's a 7 years. Okay, so the 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is like for sure her most popular book. The Dead Romantics last year. Either last year or the beginning of this year. Man, this time just I think it was the end of last year because that feels very fall. This feels fall, I guess mainly because I read an Ashley Poston around this time last year, but the cover, there's leaves. Leaves and trees. You know? So it feels very fall, but it's something about how an apartment will travel in time. It makes me think of The Lake House with Sandra Bullock, Hey Sandy B. And it also reminds me of Just Like Heaven with Reese Witherspoon and Mark Ruffalo. So I haven't read this, so I have If you haven't watched those, I don't know. Like, we'll see. I'll let you know if they end up being like those. But that's what this reminds me of. So I am excited to read this. This has been a long time. I think I might read this one actually after Fourth Wing so that I can have like a totally different genre and different feel before I go on to like more fantasy or something a little bit heavier. Or I might be read Remarkably Bright Creatures. Ooh, the dilemma. Anyway, 7-year slip. This is on the Fall TBR for sure. I'm sorry if this video is so long. I'm going to try to edit it so that it goes quickly, like quicker than what I'm doing. So this one I recently picked up and have seen kind of mixed reviews about it, but it's Lightlark. And regardless of the reviews, I'm excited to read it. I actually think that I go into books better if I hear that people are like, no, I don't know about it, because then I'm like, no, I think it's great. And I go in with low expectations and come out on top. This one is about, let's see, lie, cheat, betray. I think this is also YA. This was in the YA section at Barnes & Noble. But welcome to the Centennial. Every 100 years, the island of Lightlark appears for only 100 days to host a deadly game where the rulers of 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Each ruler has something to hide. Each curse is uniquely wicked. To break them and save themselves and their realms, one ruler must die. So, why wouldn't I like that? And feels fall. Argue with the wall. If you don't think that looks fall, I don't know what to tell you, honestly. We're just on different pages or different books. And we have, this is actually kind of a different pick for me. I haven't read this author before, Dustin, Thao, which is You've Reached Sam. This seems horribly sad. And I thought, if there's times that I want to be sad this fall, this book is the one for me. So the main girl, Julie Clark, has her future all planned. Move out of her small town with her boyfriend Sam, attend college in the city, spend a summer in Japan, but then Sam dies and everything changes. And I think she somehow has like a temporary connection with his phone, I think. So, or his voicemail, something like that. But I'm excited to read it. It's like, how do you move forward when everything you love is on the line? So yeah, if I need a good cry, I know where to find it. You know? Stop saying you know. Yeah, I know where to find it. Sheffield? Then we have, I'm going to do these 2 books together, and then the third one is going to be coming out. There's another one. Like, there's so many of this author that I haven't read, but I am excited to have these first 2 available to me in my library, which is The House in the Cerulean Sea, as well as Under the Whispering Door, 2 of Jake Klune's, I think, most popular books. He also has The Life of Puppets, and he has the one with, like, wolves on it. He has that whole series, but then he's also coming out with another one that I think goes with these, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I think that these are interconnected standalones rather than a series, is what I have gathered, because it says, like, this is about the Department of Magical Youth, and then this one is Sharon's Crossing. So I think these, but yeah, like the dead are, the tea is hot. This is for this one. The tea is hot, the scones are fresh, and the dead are just passing through. And then this one is A Magical Island, A Dangerous Task, and A Burning Secret. So these actually specifically feel like September books, at least this one does. And so I think I will read this one this month and then this one later on in fall. But I don't know why. I think it's just because it's like a forest. And oh, look at that deer. I just noticed that deer shadow. Where have I been? Honest to God, why have I only ever noticed the house and not the giant fucking shadow? What an idiot. Is there a shadow on this one? There's not. Okay, we're good. But I love these covers. They're so cool. And then there's the third one coming out. So that's exciting because I want to read these 2 first. So both of these by TJ Klune. I do love a good mystery. So these next 3 are mysteries that I'm going to try to knock out this fall. This one feels fall. I think I just see orange and it feels fall. But also mysteries, just I love spooky season. I do need more ghostly books. These are mostly like your run-of-the-mill mysteries, but I need more ghost books. If you have more ghost books, you let me know. I need to pick up more Riley Sager. I've only read one of his, which was The House Across the Lake, and he has a couple that have come out specifically like this year and last year that I really want to read. I just don't have them. I would say I do have like a fall TBR that is like my wish list where I'm like, these are books that if I finish all these fucking books, that I can buy those. And because that's never going to happen, they will be next year's books. But I would love to read them, but I'm really trying to read just what's in my house because this is already enough fucking books, you know? But the first one is The Return of Ellie Black by Emiko Jean. And this is about a girl who disappeared. That's all I know. And it's a mystery, and everybody's been talking about it. And it sounds great, and I got it on sale. Come on, magic. Stephen King says it's magnetic. Good enough for me, Stephen. Then we have The Mystery Guest. This again has some like stickers that need, but I got it for like $2. So what more do you expect? I love the first one, which is The Maid. Which is the red one. It says it right down there. The Maid. So I love the first one, and so I'm excited to read the second one because I think she's coming out with the third one, which is more like Christmas themed. So I definitely want to read this one and then read that one in my winter months. So this is high up there for ones to read soon. Oh gosh, the piles are very precarious. And then this one, I'm not sure if I'm going to get to it this fall. Actually, I'm not even going to include this one because I think Ruth Ware will put me in a slump. I'm not going to lie to you. This is more of like a magical one. And I have the first one that this author wrote, The Wishing Game. The Wishing Game, I think I'll probably read in December or like in the winter. I don't know why that feels more wintry to me, but this one, the last story, feels more fall to me. And it's kind of like a Lion Witch in the Wardrobe situation, but with a tree, and it's magical realism. And that sounds great. That's what I know about it. And it was a book of the month pick. I think this was my book of the month for July. And I was like, this is not a summer book. Don't fuck with me. And I love Lion Witch in the Wardrobe. So great. Great. Okay. So contrary to the review I gave for Beach Read, like I said, it did not deter me from Emily Henry. And I'll show you proof right now, which is funny story, is going to be on my Fall TBR. And it only seems fall in that they're wearing orange. But I think this isn't really that it's fall. It's more just that it doesn't feel overly summery to me. And I do want to have like some romances in my fall list. So that's kind of where this one comes in. And I think that they like help each other out. That's what I know. And it's Emily Henry if people liked it. They help each other, right? Let's see. It's a funny story. Yeah, like they both get broken up with and then they start living together or something. Anyway, it seems fun. So I'm excited to pick this one up. And I also want to read Emily Henry pretty immediately because I don't want Beach Read to be where I'm like hesitant to pick up her books because I really liked Book Lovers and I still liked Beach Read, but I'm excited to give her another shot like pretty immediately. This one, I really don't see anybody talk about, but I loved his other books. This is Artemis by Andy Weir. So if you are getting into sci-fi, I feel like Andy Weir is a great author to start on. So I read The Martian when I wasn't super into sci-fi yet. And so I thought that it was a great like introduction to the genre. And then I read Project Hail Mary this year and Aubin read it this year. We make everybody we know read it. My mom loved it. Like Project Hail Mary is so stinking good. And I feel like people can get intimidated and be like, I don't understand it. But I just kind of feel like if you read it and you're like, you accept that you're not going to understand the science, in like the next sentence, he explains it. And it's just so well written. So I think The Martian and Project Hail Mary, they both got 5 stars. Project Hail Mary is like high up there. It's one of my favorite sci-fis for sure, if not my favorite. It's really good. And so I'm excited to read Artemis, which is his other one that I haven't read. So I think he has the 3 books. And so I'm excited to kind of have read everything that he's written. I don't have a lot of authors like that, so that's pretty fun. But yeah, Artemis, I don't know anything about this other than it's sci-fi and Andy Weir wrote it. And honestly, that's good enough for me. And sci-fi feels fall. I don't know why. Sci-fi is like fall is when I get my sci-fi in and like more of my fantasy. I don't know. That's just me. I think it's because living in LA, you have no seasons. So I have to do something seasonally and it just happens to be my books. But Andy Weir, Artemis, it's Andy Weir. It's also not that long for like a sci-fi book. That's so manageable. I'll let you know if this ends up being like a good intro. Like this is a good one because it's not that long. Martian's not that long and it's also really good. And if you've seen the movie, the book is even better as it usually is. And I loved the movie, The Martian. So do with that information what you will. This one still has the receipt in it from Barnes & Noble, but it's also in the sci-fi realm. It's by Kaliane Bradley. I'm sorry if I don't know how to say that, but it's The Ministry of Time. This cover is one of the sickest covers. I love it. I think it is so cool. But basically, it's where there are time traveling people, and I think the main character gets partnered with somebody from the past, and they have to shepherd them into this new world that they now belong in modern age. And that sounded like an interesting enough premise for me to pick up. It's going to be like a commentary on society and what we bring to it and how we approach it and how we approach relationships is my guess. But I'd say it still falls under like sci-fi because there's time travel, but it doesn't seem to me that it's sci-fi like Ender's Game or Dune or something like that. It seems a little bit more tame than that. So this also might be a good entry book to sci-fi. I'll let you know. But Ministry of Time looks so good. I'm really excited to read this. And this cover is sick as fuck, honestly. Don't judge a book by its cover, they said. This is going to be a book that represents other books because there are other books by this author that I'm going to read, but I could not find them all. So here we are. But it's Freida McFadden. This one is The Coworker. My friend Ashton gave me Never Lie, which I think, sorry, it's that monster time. Monster. I drink monsters, so I don't become a monster. So this kind of represents like Freida McFadden because there's Never Lie that I want to read. I know she's coming out with one called The Boyfriend. And then this is The Coworker. Freida McFadden. I love her. So far, I've only read Housemaid, so like that trilogy. So I'm super excited to see what I think of her books outside of that. I do think she like churns out books super fast, so I feel like it's either like a gold or it's mid. There's The Coworker and The Never Lie. I know for sure that I own and just need to find. But that one and this one are both on the list. This one says two women, an office filled with secrets, one terrible crime that can't be taken back. Sounds like a Tuesday. This one is beginning a series, so I'm trying to finish up series before I start more, but who am I kidding? I just read whatever is my fancy. My fancy. This one is the third day. The third day. It's like Joey when he's like
Wednesday? When? Huh? What day? Thursday.
third day. That was very deep it was a deep cut for Friends fans. But The Thursday Murder Club by Richmond Osman. I haven't read anything of his so far, but I know that this is a whole series. I know he's also coming out with another one that's like a father-daughter, like mystery solving duo. The Man Who Died Twice, that's right. Why? Like, let me take it off. I don't know anything about this one. Let's see. Don't trust anyone. In a peaceful retirement village, four unlikely friends meet weekly in the Jigsaw room to discuss unsolved crimes. Together, they call themselves the Thursday Murder Club. And honestly, that sounds like what I want to be doing when I'm an old lady. So I might as well get a head start. Okay. This one. So I think about reading this book at least every month. And it's because I loved the first book that I ever read from this author. I loved it so much. I don't remember, like, I remember reading it. I remember loving it. I don't remember, like, what captivated me so much about it. I just loved her writing. But it was The Paris Wife by Paula McLean, which is a great read. So if you haven't read that, but she also has Circling the Sun, which I've had forever. And I think about reading it all the time, which means I have to read it soon because it's just got to stop sitting there. But Judy Pico, blurb the front. That's awesome. But it's like, it says the powerful novel transports readers to the breathtaking worlds of Out of Africa, 1920s Kenya, and reveals extraordinary adventures of Beryl Markham, a woman before her time. Circling the Sun, I'm super excited because I loved her writing for the first one that I read of hers, and so I literally think about this book all the time, so I cannot wait to actually read it. I have not read Emily St. John Mandel yet, but I do have Station 11 on my TBR. This is so exciting because I think it's like a traveling circus. Well, every other night, the famous Hollywood actor had a heart attack on stage during production of King Lear. It was also the night when a devastating flu pandemic arrived in the city, and weeks later, civilization as we know it came to an end. This sounds very pandemic-y. I don't know. 20 years later, she moves between the settlements of the altered world with a small troupe of actors and musicians. They call themselves the Trafalgar Symphony, and they've dedicated themselves to keeping the remnants of art and humanity alive. So it's kind of dystopian, a little bit, is what it sounds like. It's so funny because by Station 11, for a long time, I thought that it was in space. And it's not. But it is an original series on HBO Max, so I am excited to read the book and then watch the series. Seattle Times, that darkly lyrical, truly haunting book, one that is hard to put down. It's not that big. Maybe I'd finish it quickly. But yeah, dystopian, I guess. I don't know. Have you read this one? I don't really see people talking about this one too much, to be fair. I know very little about it. Going in blind. Might as well blindfold me. This one is very controversial, so I'm excited to bring it up because I love nothing if not having drama and making it. Just kidding, I hate drama. Please don't bring it to me. But I do think it's funny when I end up having a hot take on BookTube and Bookstagram and BookTok and book fucking whatever. But I have on my TBR, and I have no fucking shame in it, which is Shadow and Bone. I haven't read this series, and I'm excited to. Tell me you don't like it, what the fuck ever. That's gonna make me love it more, except I'll probably be reading and be like, I gotta see what they say. But I love the show. It's one of those rare times where I've watched the show before. The show looks so good that I was like, I can't wait. I just gotta watch it. And it's so good. We're in season 2 right now. With the permanent fucking sticker, you would know that it's on Netflix forever. And they better never take it down because the sticker's never coming off. So they better never take it off. But Shadow and Bone, starting my adventure with Grishaverse. As I said, there's a video I did where I did a book haul where a lot of these books are actually in. That's why I'm not saying too much about them because I've already talked about them and why they're on my TBR and why I wanted them and blah, blah, blah. I've already talked enough. I did pick up Six of Crows and like a couple of the others that are within like the Grishaverse, but I'm really excited to read this. I don't know what to tell you. I'm very excited to read this. A lot of people are like, it's whatever. You don't have to read it. Just skip to the other one. No, I'm going to read it and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to be one of the people. I'm going to love it. And what's funny is that that's the hot take. So I don't know. We'll go in and see, but I love the show. And I actually think it'll be cool because I already have in my head kind of what they look like because of the actors. So I think it's going to like be doing a lot of work for my brain, and I think it'll be an easy fantasy to get into because I'm already acquainted with it with the show. So I love Shadow and Bone. I don't know if I love Shadow and Bone. I love Shadow and Bone, the show. So I'm excited to read the series. And don't yuck my yum. I'm excited. I'm really excited. These are all 3 they're different genres, but they are all book of the month. So I'm just going to go quickly through them. The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. It's a mystery, and I've had this on my list forever, and I have others of Simone St. James. So I really want to read this one because I haven't read her. I want to see if I like her writing so that I can buy the other ones if I so choose. I have The Intern, another book of the month. It's a political mystery, and I think that with the election going on right now, it's scary enough, but why not add a little bit more fear? And then this one's been on my list forever, and I started watching the show, so I do know some. I know, like, the initial first, like, spoiler, I guess, but then I stopped watching the show because I was like, I just want to read the book and then I'll watch the show. Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. And what's so disappointing is, like, this cover is fine, but there's one at Barnes & Noble that's, like, a cloth, and it has the periodic table on it. I like that so much better, but this is the copy that I have, which is fine. Lessons in Chemistry. I feel like everybody's kind of about this one, but it's basically about a female chemist who isn't really allowed to be a chemist, so she uses her chemistry and makes a show later. That's kind of all I know about it. If that's off the mark, I'll find out. But that's what I know about this one so far, and I'm excited to read this one. I am also glad that I did see the show a little bit, because I think based on this cover, I would have thought that it was a lot more lighthearted than what I know that it actually is. So I am glad that I saw that. But I'm excited to finally knock this one off, because this has been on there for forever, and I just need to, like, get my shit together and actually read it, which is literally the tagline of this fucking show and channel and my life is, I have the book, I want to read it, just sit down and read it, you damn fool. All right, I've got a stack that literally is just right out of frame. It's that high on my lap. The first one is, you can tell that I don't keep up with my book of the months that I picked up, but this is The Cartographers by Peng Shepherd, and I have since I got it in March 2022, I've forgotten what it's about. It says that it's an highly imaginative thriller about a young woman who discovers that a strange map in her deceased father's belongings holds an incredible, deadly secret, one that will lead her on an extraordinary adventure into the truth about her family's dark history. Well, actually, I'm really glad that I reread that, because I would have gone into this thinking that it was more like dark academia, but it's a thriller. What a mindfuck that would have been when reading this, when something fucking scary happens, and I'm like, I just thought this was like dark academia. So really glad that I just reread that. But The Cartographers, which I haven't also heard people talk about, but this cover is also just the coolest. I love this cover, and I'm excited to read it. It's like not too long, and it is one of my book of the months. I kind of just blindly trust book of the month. I love a good mystery, and I don't know why. I think maps make me feel just like it's like just more adventurous. So excited to read this one. This is dark academia, I do know that, but it's That Was Six by Olivia Blake. Secrets, Betrayal, Seduction, and Power. Welcome to the Alexandrian Society. Thank you. I feel welcomed. Have not read Olivia Blake. There are a lot of books out by this author. Ooh, it's a pseudonym. Girl, I don't know anything. Okay. Should I buy the sheet? Okay, so she has a lot of books that are out, but I haven't read any of them, and I've owned this one forever because it seems just so up my alley. Knowledge is Carnage. Hell yeah. This cover is also sick as fuck. So what are you gonna do? And dark academia is fall for obvious reasons, and if you don't believe me, you don't have to. That is your choice, girly. Your choice. And then my first Liane Moriarty, even though I have a bunch of her books, but this is the first one I'm gonna knock out, which is Apples Never Fall. It's a mystery, and it's Liane Moriarty, and apples never fall. Apples. Only reason I think it's fall. I don't know. Make it make sense. This one is kind of a throwback. I read Wrinkle in Time as a child and then again as an adult, and I loved Wrinkle in Time. Wrinkle in Time is definitely one of the books that got me into reading. There's probably a handful of books that I read in elementary school that kind of cemented books for me. And so I read Wrinkle in Time and loved it. And then as an adult, I was like, there is a whole series. What are you doing? And so I have the second one in the series on my list, A Wind in the Door. I am upset because I do have the whole series, but they are different editions. Like the first two are different editions than the rest of them, which hurts my heart. And if I ever get through them all, then I will probably switch them out to be the same art, because how could I not? But anyway, Open the Door, and it's a sequel to Wrinkle in Time, and I will breeze right through this. I think probably what I'll do is listen to A Wrinkle in Time again. I've read it twice. I think I've read it 3 times actually, but I'll listen to it again for doing A Wind in the Door. But I'm excited to continue on with this because I love picking up. I'm reading this one and Percy Jackson and Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe, like the series that were from when I was younger. I'm like either reading past the first book or just continuing the series. So I'm excited to pick up this one. These go into a little bit more fantasy. It's one everyone's read but me, but it's The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I would say more about it, but that's all I know. Sharpen your blade, harden your heart. Already there. Done and done. Does she even need to read the book? This one I've heard mixed reviews about, but the cover is cool, and I'm gonna read it because I own it. And it is The Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. Maniscalco. This is another series because I cannot finish a series, apparently. I can only start them because this is also the start of a series. So who are we trying to be? But it's a cool cover. A lot of mixed reviews. Two sisters, one brutal murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself, and an intoxicating romance. Sounds like October to me. There's a fucking skull on it. Ooh, this one. Okay, I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about this one. So if you have something bad to say, please tell me what it is, because, like, I've heard not a peep about this one being bad. This is by, I hope I don't butcher this, but I know that I probably will. Hafsa Fizal. Hafsha? Maybe it's Hafsa Fizal? But it's We Hunt the Flame, which I know it's at least a duology. I don't know if it's more than that. I know it's at least a duology, but I've heard everybody loves this one who has read it. Not a ton of people I see talking about it, but the people that do, they love this book. So I'm excited to read this one. This is one of those books where I'm just like, some of the books I put off reading, because I'm like, I know it's going to become everything, which is Fourth Wing, which is what's happening right now. But We Hunt the Flame, high up there. Love this. That's like a fantasy, right? People lived because she killed. People died because he lived. Damn. Damn. Oh, the piles are starting to rebel against me. All right, we're going to quickly go through these because I can't edit all this shit. Rebecca Yarros, Divine Rivals. Really excited. I know there's a second one, so I'm excited to read this one. When two young rival journalists find love through a magical connection, they must face the depths of hell in a war between gods to seal their fate forever. Do you see how, like, when I read these, it's like people are going to hell and all these things? So I have to have books that break it up because I cannot just read one after the other because they will all blur together and I will have no opinions and no original thoughts. But Divine Rivals, I know that the second one has gotten kind of mixed reviews, but the first one everybody seems to love. So I am excited for this one. I've seen also the new covers, or maybe they're alternative covers from different countries, and I also really love those. But I do like this cover, but I've seen the other covers. Once you see the other covers, do you go back? Finishing another series that, like, really propelled my love for reading. So this is the only one in this series that I haven't read, and I think I'll just, like, go right through it. I'm very excited, but it's 4, which is the Divergent series from 4's perspective, and 4 was my favorite character. So I am excited to read this one. It's been on my shelf for probably a decade. It's time to get to it. Like, there's procrastination and there's, like, girl, why? This one, I know I feel very conflicted about because people are either like, this book is amazing, or they're like, this will ruin your fucking life. You're welcome. And that's The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. Kuang? Don't know. Same author that wrote Babel, though. And I do have Babel. Oh, Babel. Babel on this list? I don't know if I pulled Babel for this, but Babel is on my list as well. But Poppy War. Book 1, starting another series trilogy. Aha, right now it's a trilogy. Maybe it will be forever. It is Read the Poppy War trilogy. So the Poppy War. People say it will either ruin your life or, like, I don't know. Will I come out this okay? You never know. Almost done, I promise. Then we have A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, another series. I'm so fucked up. Darker Shade of Magic, I have only read from V.E. Schwab, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and have a tattoo from a quote from that book. So I love V.E. Schwab. And so I'm excited to read this trilogy, and this screams October to me. Although I don't know if I'll be able to wait that long, so we'll see. But Darker Shade of Magic is for sure in there, and we'll see how quickly I get through that series. Okay, this is one of my most anticipated reads. I really need to rank these at some point, but today is not that day. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. Gillig? Not sure. But Rachel, you're killing it because everyone loves your fucking book. One Dark Window, which goes with Two Twisted Crowns. I think it's just supposed to be a duology, but you never know. This says Maiden, Monster, Martyr. This was part of my haul, so I talk more about it in that book, or in that video, but the Shepherd King duology, I think. And so I'm so excited to read this one. This is definitely at the top. I think the ones that are near the top for me are, like, obviously Fourth Wing, Shadow and Bone, 7 Year Slip, One Dark Window, and this next one, which is Legendborn. Legendborn, I think, is again part of a duology that's right now maybe a series. I cannot tell you. Tracy Dion, and if this cover doesn't tell you what it's about, I don't know what to tell you, but it says some legacies are meant to be broken. Let's fuck some shit up. That's what this means to me. I have Portrait of a Thief. This one is where what got me for this one was Ocean's 11 meets The Farewell and Portrait of a Thief, a lyrical heist novel inspired by the true story of Chinese art vanishing from Western museums. So this one was, I think, on people's radar for just like a blip of a second. So I'm excited to read it, and it's just kind of different. Like, I love a good heist. Like, I love Ocean's 11, and so if you're like, it's like Ocean's 11, I'm like, sold. That's enough for me. So Portrait of a Thief. And then Golden Sun. Golden Sun is the second in the Red Rising series, and I do want to keep going with that series. I really am trying to, like, continue a series that I have instead of just continuously buying new books, which is how we got in this mess in the first place. But Golden Sun, I am excited to continue the Red Rising series. So this is the second one. I'm going to tell you nothing about it because then you would know things about the first one. And you should go in blind because it's incredible. All right, bitches, we're in the home stretch. I have a couple that are like people have not heard of before, I don't think. I have never seen anybody talking about these books. So if you've read them, kudos to you. Only reason I know about them is one was a recommendation to me by Barnes & Noble employee, and she sold it very well, so she did a great job. And then the second one is one of my best friends recommended it and said that it's one of her favorite books. And it was actually kind of hard to find. We went in person to Barnes & Noble a few times and ended up having to buy it online because nobody had it. It's Shades of Grey by Jasper Ford. Shades of Grey, not darker shades of gray, just the shades. But basically, it's where people can see in certain colors, and the colors that you can see rank you in society, I think. So that's kind of my understanding of this book. And the fact that one of my best friends who never recommends me books, or the fact that a good friend of mine who never recommends books to me was like, this is the book to read. Obviously, I'm going to read it. This one is vastly different from that. It's the second in a series. Look at me go. I'm continuing a series. This is really funny because it's just light and fluffy and I like it. But I loved the selection. And so The Elite is the second book. And I'm reading this one. And it's in my fall one because I just want to keep going with the series. And it has orange on it. Orange is in fall. This one is also continuing a series. This is not the newest one because I was like, I can't get the newest one until I read the other one that is new that I have to get through. This goes with my love of Inheritance Games, which is not the last one that just came out. The one before that, The Brothers Hawthorne. This with Inheritance Games. I loved 1 and 2 the most. I think 3 was good, but not my favorite. And so I'm excited to see if I like The Brothers Hawthorne. I had Aubin start reading the Inheritance Games and he liked it. So I want to read this one. And then if I read this one, that means I get to have the new one because I'm trying to be good, but like I ain't that good, So read this one and then get to the next one. Obviously, can't talk too much about this one if you haven't read Inheritance Games because it's the 4th one. 2 games, an ocean apart, Hawthorne's play to win. Love it. It's basically like the vibes of the series is like a YA Sherlock Holmes or like a modern Scooby-Doo gang. That's kind of what it reminds me of, but not Scooby-Doo in terms of like there's just the old lighthouse keeper dressed up like a ghost, not like that, more just solving mysteries. But it is like a YA Sherlock Holmes. Also, because I love Inheritance Games so much, I would trust anything by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which means I'm starting the Naturals series, which I felt was appropriate because I'm almost done with the Inheritance Games series and I didn't have this one yet. And it's just like putting teenagers in situations they would never be in. Hell yeah. And actually, I've been hearing people talk way more about this series lately because this has 4. And if you're, The Naturals is Criminal Minds of the YA world, and I loved every page. I'm excited. I love Jennifer Lynn Barnes' writing, and I think it's really fun the way that she puts all the puzzles together. This was an oldie but a goodie. Even my copy is really old. I bought it used, which it's really cute because somebody put like their name in the front and stuff. And it's a well-loved book, which I love. But it's Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. An Old Man, a Young Man, and Life's Greatest Lesson seemed like a good, heartwarming one to read in like November, I think. But it's been on my list for a long time. I read 5 People You Meet in Heaven a really long time ago. I should probably read that one again. So I'm excited to read another one of Mitch Albom's books. 2 more that I don't really see people talking about, but this one has a show that's already getting canceled, so that's sad. But it's My Lady Jane, and it's so funny because it's like I just love the juxtaposition of putting like modern style on top of historical concepts. But it says sometimes history gets it all wrong. It's not easy being queen. Off with her head. This just seems really fun, and it says it's the comical, fantastical, romantical, entirely true, but not really story of Lady Jane Grey. It just sounds fantastic. So I'm in for that. And then the very last one that I will talk about in this huge, huge pile of books that I'm for sure never going to be able to read all in fall. But this is The Knife of Never Letting Go. This is the book that the Barnes & Noble person recommended to me. But basically, you live in a town where everyone can hear your inner thoughts. This is a trilogy. So she told me at the time it was a standalone, but I don't think she knew that it was a trilogy. So like party foul, but she didn't know. So maybe she party fouled herself, honestly. And she was like, it's gripping. You have to read it. And I was like, girl, say no more. So I've never heard anyone. Now a major motion picture, the fuck? Chaos Walking book 1. See, I should have known because this is book 1 on the front, you dingus. Anyway, Patrick Ness. I don't know if you've heard of him, if you read this, if you've read anything by him. Let me know. I don't know if he's read anything. Oh, it says aged 14 and up. So it's YA. Interesting. Okay, great. So we'll learn about this book together, but The Knife of Never Letting Go is also on there because that just sounds creepy. So that's it. That's everything that's on my like fall TBR. I know that ones are going to get added. Oh, I will go ahead and insert the Blue Sisters and Matt Haig's The Impossible Life. Those are both on my TBR. Those are my book of the month picks for this month. which is, we're in September. So those will also get added in November. In October and November, those book of the months will be added as well. And I'm sure I'll pick up mysteries, or I'll see something shiny go by and pick up something else. And those updates will be on TikTok and Instagram. But until then, these are kind of the books that I am taste testing from, if you will. This is a shit ton of books. I'm never going to get through them all. So if there are any that you think I should prioritize, let me know. Subscribe to this channel so that I can be besties for the resties, and so that you can know what I end up thinking about all of these hundreds of books. Thank you for joining, and I hope to see you next time. I love you. Okay, bye.